Look at the Torah Tzav 34, bottom of the first column, is Daled. 6 lines from the end of the page. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining the whole inyan of Moshiach is Ruach Elokim Merachefes al Pnei Hamayim, and therefore by Moshe Rabbeinu it says Min Hamayim B'Shisiyu. Moshe Rabbeinu came from Al Medis Gaso Chachmas Chimah, but this is even higher than this is Al Hanor, even higher than Nohar. Okay, so he says now the taste is Bir Shaychas in Yelikel Shivin Necholim Daika. To explain, so he said, why did he divide it into 7? Because the 12 Shvatim is a level of Bria, that's where Kriyas Yamsuf was, that Atzilus was revealed in Biyah. But this is even a greater level, that higher than Atzilus was revealed into Atzilus. That's the number 7, was the Avis and the Imois, the 7, and so on. So he says, an additional explanation of the Inya of Shiv and Necholim Daika Legilu Pnimis HaTorah, She'yeh Lo Osid. So he says an additional explanation of what it means that the number 7 is connected to the level of the Gilu of Mashiach. He says, it says, all of a shalom, what was the level? The attribute of Yaakov Avinu is the level of Rachmim al Yenim, Tiferes Atzilus. Like you know, Avraham Avinu was Chesed of Atzilus, Yitzchak was Gvur of Atzilus, and Yaakov was Tiferes. V'hainu shafilu al kol ha'elim esol yenim shayach v'neifo b'chinas rachmanis. So if you say Yaakov Avinu is a level of rachamim, that means that even in the level of Atzilus, you need the level of rachamim. If there would not needed any mercy in the level of Atzilus, there wouldn't be an attribute of mercy in Atzilus. And the Shvatim that were descended came out of Yaakov, at the lower levels. What does it mean? So what is the level of Rachmanis of Atzilus? It means to awaken Rachmim Rabbim. I'll need to solo course on the godly spark. In other words, what's the Rachmanis of Yaakov Avinu? That the level of the Shvatim, so to speak, which were offshoots of Atzilus, they're offshoots of Yaakov Avinu, fell so low that they come into the world of Bria, which is already Yesh Miyayin. But Rachmanis of Hadas, and mercy is connected to the level of Das. Why is that? The Gemara says, Shaita Asul Racham Olav. The Gemara says that a mentally disabled person, you can't say certain words nowadays. A mentally disabled person, you're not allowed to have Rachmanis on them. Okay. You're not allowed to have Rachmanis on them. So what's the explanation in deeper level? First of all, the Razal once said, the Rebbe Rashav's brother, Shaita, when it comes to mentally handicapped, also you are bound l'rachem olav. Not it's forbidden. Also means to be bound. You're bound to have Rachmanis on it. Because Rachmanis is based on the level of Das. When you have Das, meaning you feel the plight of the person, you can know it, but you don't feel it. What Rachmanis is when you feel actually the plight and the problems of somebody else. From here we can understand why there was 12 paths for the 12 Shvatim. Because now you can have Rachmanis on the Shvatim, Ayiridas on the Neshama B'guf, which represents the descent of the Neshama in the body. In this world, where the Neshama comes into the body, it's a tremendous, tremendous concealment of Elokus. Like, on the other hand, even in the higher worlds of Bria, Yetzirah, it's not such a big Rachmanis. In this world, once it comes into the Gashmistika world, like it says, like it's known in the Ian Af Asisif. The Pasuk says, it's brought down in Pirkei Avos, Uchvedi berosiv yitzartiv Af Asisif. Yeah? What do you mean? Kvedi is Atzilus, berosiv yitzartiv, and then the Pasuk says Af Asisif. Over there is af, there's a separation, meaning from Bria Yitzira is one level, and then after, once it comes into Gashmi, it's a much, much greater concealment. Avala says she is Dachech Elam Asiyah. But when Mashiach comes, the world of Asiyah, will be refined. V'nigel Kvei Havaya, and the glory of Hashem will be revealed. She'agilui Ba'asiyah. What happens when Mashiach comes? Down here, you're going to feel the same level of Kedusha of Atzilus than it is in Atzilus. Then you don't need the level of Rachmanis. You don't need Rachmanis, because if Asiyah, when Mashiach comes, is elevated to Kedusha, so then there's no descent anymore of the neshama. Asiyah is the same level of Bria and Atzilus. So therefore you don't need Rachmanis. He says, Ki im Rachmanis shalav is atzma. Even then you'll need Rachmanis on the Avis, not on the neshama that comes into the body, because the world of Asiyah is going to be the same level of Elokus like it is in Atzilus. 1 second. Shafilu aleim esoyenim. Shaykh v'neifel b'chinas Rachmanis. Because even at the higher worlds, you can also say the level of Rachmanis. Why? It's not the same concealment of Elokus that it is in Gashmias, where the body mamish hides Elokus completely. But the fact that there's a world, Olam, even Olam Atzilus, even though it's Atzilus, it's Eitel, it's near, it's close, it's super great, but it's still Olam. It's still Helam. It's still a concealment. What's the concealment of Atzilus if it's a world of which is Alukus? The fact that there's 10 levels. There's Chochmah and Bina, and there's a limitation compared to the level of higher than Atzilus, where there is no limitation, not even the level of Kedusha limitation. Keser, Akudim, Nukudim, Brudim, Ak, Lifnei Atzimtzum. You're kidding? There's infinite levels there. Just like, what does Rachmim do? It's the Pasuk says, Yaakov asher podas Avram. Yaakov who redeemed Avram. Historically, Yaakov Avinu, he lived 15 years together with Avram Avinu. Yeah, there was 15 years that all the others lived. Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov were alive, because Yaakov died when Avram Avinu died when Yaakov and Esau were 15. So 15 years they were together. But Yaakov never redeemed Avram. Avram never was in jail since Yaakov was born in the 15 years to have to redeem him. So what does it mean? So Chassidus explains, there's a level of Avram which is a level of Ahava, Chesed. And there's a level of Yaakov which is a level of Rachmim. When you're trying, it says in Alter Rebbe all over the place, in davening, it's a process, right? First you have until Baruch Shabbat. Then you have Baruch Shabbat Yishtabach, you praising Hashem, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, talking to the Nefesh Mamis. Even Nefesh Mamis can understand. The sun praises Hashem, the moon praises Hashem. In that capital of Tum, there's inanimate plant, animal, and human. All praising Hashem. Okay, the Nefesh Mamis can also get turned down a little bit. Then you come the next part of davening about the Malachim, Kadesh, Baruch. So why is that? We learned already many times, because the source of the Nefesh Habamis, says in Kabbalah, the source of the Nefesh Habamis comes from Mishmorei Ifanim, from the sediment of the angels called Ifanim. That means the source of the Nefesh Habamis is also from Malachim. So the next stage of davening, you tell the Nefesh Habamis, look, your own source, the Ifanim are screaming Kadesh and Baruch. I mean, your own source, where you come from, is screaming the greatness of Hashem. And then we have Avasalem, the last paragraph right before Shema. What do we say over there? Avinu averachman, racham no'aleinu, simply beinu, bino, lo'oven. We ask for Rachmanis. Not only we ask for Rachmanis, we say averachman, the source of mercy. What is that last thing going? We know that when somebody has pity on somebody, it awakens a love to the person. That's what we do finally before Shema when nothing helps. Not Pesach Zimra helps, not Birchas, not Malachim help. Come to Hashem and say, God, help me out. The ultimate goal is V'ahavta Hashem Elokach, to have love. So we say, Hashem, have a Rachmanis on me, and we will reveal the love. We know, we mentioned this millions of times. Social workers many times fall in love with their clients. Why? Because they have Rachmanis on them. And Rachmanis awakens a level of love. That's the way the nature is. So what does it mean, Yaakov Shepadas Avram? Redeeming means the person is in captivity, and you take him out, you reveal him. So Yaakov redeeming Avram means there's a level of Avas Hashem. That the neshama is in Golus. It's in captivity, but of Shabbamas. And so what's the level of Yaakov Shepadas Avram? So he's saying over here the same thing. He says, even the world of Hatzilis, the fact that it's a world, still needs Rachmanis. And what does Rachmanis do? And he says, in that once Moshiach comes, Asiya is the same Gilu like Hatzilis, if not even greater. What is Rachmanis? And he says, of the Shvatim, Mamshich, Meserusa de Leila, Rachmim Shalamayla Yosef, Rachmim Shalavisatzman. When you have lower Rachmanis, it awakens a higher level of Ava that you wouldn't have without the Rachmanis. K'meila Marshal, Hashevet Shal Ilan, the branch of a tree, but Shevet means a soft branch of a tree, not like Mata, which means a hard branch. So Kefer V'neisa, when you bend it down. As a nim shechayideza kolo ilan atzmei, when you bend down a branch, you're not only bending down the branch, you're bending down the whole tree. This branch affects the entire tree. And that Rachmanis, which pulls on the tree, so to speak, reveals the level Gilei Elokus Haydei Torah Mitzvahs, which is Hamshalcha Sheidei LaTorah Fanenu, which is the level of Torah, not the previous Torah Mashiach. Torah that we have now is Chochmila Chochma Vatzilis. Shel Yes Hamshalcha Torah is through the level of Rachmim the Yaakov. Ukar Lakam, like he's going to explain soon. It says Kach LaOsad Lava Aydei Gilu Yarachmanu Sha'ol Avis Atma Chol Neshamis Yisrael, through having Rachmanis of Atzilis. Having Rachman, it's a rose of the Leibachinus Rachmim G'deilim of Arich Ampin, which is the lower level of Kesed, which is higher even than Chesed Gvor Tiferet of Atzilus. Bottom line is, you're talking like this. By Kriyas Yamsuf, you had to awaken Rachmanis of the Shvatim, because they were descendants of Yaakov, right? So therefore they awakened the lower level of Rachmanis. That revealed the higher Gilui of Kriyas Yamsuf. But Moshiach is a deeper level of Rachmanis. Rachmanis of the Avis. Then you're going to reveal even a greater level of Keser, which by itself wouldn't be revealed. The level of Rachman reveals it. Yes, sir. You got lost? I'm lost already.
Why shouldn't we have pity on the person who has psychological issue?
Okay, whatever. Kabbalistically, because a person who's a shaita has no das. Shaita ain't no das, right? So if they have no das, again, Rachmanis comes from the fact that you feel the pity of the person. That person has no pity because he has no das. So then, like, there's no connection there to this. He loses, yeah, but he doesn't have, because the Gemara says, there's a lot of classifications of a shaita. But one Gemara says, Shema Abid Mashanei Simli. He loses what you give him. Okay? I mean, if you give him something, you want to know the classification of a shaita, you give him something, he loses it. He doesn't understand that it has to be taken care of. But Chassidus explains, what is a shaita? Shema Abdin Ma, he loses the level of ma, the bittul, shenaisim like that he's given from above. Not talking physically. A shaita means en das, it doesn't feel elokus, because he loses the bittul that Hashem gives him from above.
So how did Yaakov Avinu explain that as?
Because the level of Rachmanis reveals Ava. When you have Rachmanis.
But Avraham Avinu had that.
Right.
Rabbi, Moshiach is a level of 7 here he's talking about?
No. He didn't finish the explanation. But he's saying 7 is as far as the Moshiach is 8. Okay? But here he's talking about the dividing into 7. The Moshiach 7 is the Rachmanis of the Avos and the Mois, which is 7, 3 and 4, is awakening that level of higher than Atzilus. But
So if a shota doesn't have dad, how can a shota do tshuva?
because even the mad that he loses is not lost completely. It's never lost. No matter how it could be covered with mud and dirt that you need bulldozers to take it clean, to reveal it. But it's not that you have to create it there. It's there. Baal Shem Tov said on the Pasuk, V'atem tilui eretz chayfetz. The Pasuk says, Hashem says to the Jewish people, it will be for me a desirable land. V'atem tilui eretz chayfetz. You're going to be in a desirable land for me. So Baal Shem Tov said, what it means is, the Eibush is telling every Jew that just like all the precious materials come from the ground, gold, silver, they all come from the depth of the ground. But it's all covered. Sometimes it's covered. What do you have to do? You have to mine it. How do you mine the gold in gold mine? You dig deep and then you reveal it. You bring it out, you reveal it. So it says, Baal Shem Tov said that what it means is no matter how much mud a Jew is covered with, the neshama is still there. Sometimes something is dusty, you could blow on it and it clears off the dust. Sometimes you have to take, sometimes you need a shovel, and sometimes you need a bulldozer. Okay? But it's there. So when he loses it, it's not that it's not existing in the world anymore. When you lose something, it doesn't mean it's non-existent anymore. Then you didn't lose it. It's not there. If you have something that was destroyed, you didn't lose it. It's not here anymore. Losing means it's there, you can't find it. So when it says the expression ma'abid, it doesn't say he destroys. He loses the ma that's given to him, meaning it's, and the pasuk says in Devarim, ubikashta misham in Pashat Zalchan. We read on Tishma also. Bikashta misham es Hashem alakecha matzasa ki sidrishenu b'chol levav b'chol nafshcha. The pasuk says ki bikashta misham, you should seek out from there Hashem alakecha, that you will find him umatzasa when. If you keep looking for him with all your heart and soul, you'll find him. So Chassidus explains there's Pai and Sham. Pai means here, there's here and there. Here represents it's in front of me. When you say it's here, meaning it's here, I see it. Sham means it's not there. I don't see it. It's there somewhere. Okay? Sham, Pai represents Kedusha, Zeh. Zekeh. Sham represents the level of evil. Elukus is hidden. What does the pasuk say? Bikashta misham es Hashem elokecha. From the level of Sham, meaning the place of concealment of godliness, that's where you have to look for what you lost. And you're going to find it when you look with all your heart and soul, meaning you really mean it. You look, you're going to find it. As the 12th, your guide, the Gemara says, your guide them, Tamin. Your guide to V'loi Matzasa, Al Tamin. Because if you look, you're going to find it. The Pasuk promises, Ubikashtem Mitzasa. When? He said, you don't look, many times they tell the story. A kid lost years ago, a kid lost his contact lens on the ground, on the floor. So the kid was looking for it. And he couldn't find it. So the mother looked and she found it. So somebody asked why the kid couldn't find it and the mother did. So they said the kid was looking for a piece of glass. The mother was looking for $100. He said, "Kid, a piece of glass. It doesn't mean anything." They couldn't. The kid didn't know $100. It cost $100. The kid knew he had a piece of glass, or whatever it was. The mother was looking for $100. It's a different look. So you have to know what you're looking for. So when it says, to answer your question, when it says Shema Abed Mashaneistimli, that he loses this level of bittul, so how's it going to happen? So the answer is Hashem Momaila wakens him up, or a Rebbe, today's Aleph Nissen, a Rebbe thinks about the person, and that awakens the neshama that they should start awakening that. But God forbid, it's not there. It's there. And that's why the Rebbe didn't like the expression Kiruv v'Chaykim. The Rebbe said a Jew is never far. A Jew is always close. It could be right in front of your eyes. But if it's covered, not the pshat, you have to go somewhere. It's right in front of your eyes. You just take off the paper that's covering it, you'll see it. So a Jew never loses, he loses it in a way that he can't find it. Or he doesn't even know that he lost it. It's called Yir Shalei Midas in the Gemara. A guy didn't even know he lost something, and if he knew he lost it, he would give up hope. But he doesn't know about it yet. This is a famous argument, if it's Avir Yir Shalei Avir. But the bottom line is, a Jew never loses it. I mean, he can lose it from his sight, from his position at the present, but it's never lost. And that, by the way, awakens an awakening from above, that Hashem helps you get it. It says, Yamshich the le'ela. They will awaken from the level of Rachman G'deilim Avadachampa, which is even higher than Chesed Atzilus. Like it says, Berachmim G'deilim Akapsech. The Pasuk says, Hashem says about Golus, the end of Golus, with great mercy, Rachmim, not Stam Rachmim. Rachmim Rabim, I'll gather you. Or like it says, V'chasti mi'itech liyomush. Hashem says, my chesed, my love to you will never finish. V'chas di daika, and means the chesed of a higher than Atzilus. Therefore, this level of greater Rachmanus awakens the level of Meiches Timah, which is infinitely higher than Chochmah Atzilus. Okay? So this is the level. So he says, Al Piza Yesh Leima, and now we can understand what the opinion says. Eita das Chita Haisa. The Eitz Das, what was what Adam and Chava ate from? What was it? So one opinion says it was Chita, one opinion says it was a fig, one opinion says it was a grape. Yeah. By the way, apple, there's not one opinion in Torah that says it was an apple. Esrig, and sometimes places in Shabbos says esrig is sometimes called tapuach. Okay. But in Torah, it was either an esrig, a wheat. So he says, but in another place it explains that chita ches tes hey, with the word is 22. 8, 9, and 5. Okay? 8 and 5 is 13, and 9 is 22. No, 22, I'm sorry. So how could it be called Eitz Das if it refers to Torah? So he says like this. Like it says somewhere else in the Nishma, it says like this: Torah Shebiksav is called Eitz HaChaim, the tree of life. Torah Shebal Peh is called in Zayar Ilanu Tevera, the tree of good and bad, which is Eitz Hadas Tevera. Okay, what does it say at the beginning of Chumash? There was Hashem made in Gan Eitz HaChaim and Eitz Hadas. But Eitz HaChaim, it says nothing, and the Eitz Hadas it says Tevera. So it says in Kabbalah that Eitz HaChaim is Torah Shebiksav. Eitz Hadas Tevera is Torah Shebal Peh. So the Alter Rebbe asks, "V'lo sheichas v'shom Eitz Hadas Tevera." It doesn't mean chas v'shom Torah Shebal Peh is Ra, Tevera. Torah Shebal Peh is Malchus Datzilis, which is Alukus. Alarotza Leimar Shemislabesh is Levarid Eitz Hadas Tevera, which is Klipas Noiga. What's the inyan of Torah Shebal Peh? Torah Shebal Peh is to explain how we do mitzvahs. What's the whole Torah Shebal Peh? To explain how we do Torah Shebiksav. Torah Shebiksav says, take boxes and tie them for your sign. It comes Torah Shebal Peh and explains how you do it. So what does Torah Shebal Peh do? It goes into Klipas Noiga, because otherwise you can't do mitzvahs with Shosh Kibbutz Meis. It comes into Klipas Noiga, it's parchment, which is not Kedusha, and it explains and it reveals the level, in the Ra, it reveals the level of Teif. Because what's Klipas Noiga? It's Ra that shines within it. Noga means shining, right? Klipas Noiga is a level of Klipa. Sholosh Kibbutz Tameis Ein Bohem Teif Klal. Sholosh Kibbutz Tameis there's no revealed good at all. Klipas Noiga is Noiga shines within it Teif Ra. In the Ra, it's Klipa, it's evil, but there shines within it a little bit of Teif. So who refines the Teif from the Ra? That's Torah Shebal Peh. So Torah Shebal Peh is the Eitz Hadas. Okay. Hine gam beTorah Shebiksav ksiv b'shivri lochem mate lechem. It says, when I break you the mate lechem is Eitz HaChaim, the tree of life, u'b'shvir is luchos rishenis. When the first luchos were broken, which is Torah Shebiksav, nishtalshav and islabshav b'devarim gashmim. What happened when Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchos? Okay. Without the second luchos, we wouldn't have Torah Shebal Peh. We'd have the books of Tanakh that's it. So what happened? Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchos. When you break luchos, it becomes klipa. It became evil, so to speak. So what happens then? And what is Torah Shebal Peh? Torah Shebal Peh explains Torah Shebal Ksav, right? Before Adam Rishon sinned, of bearded Eitz Hadas Tevera. And he said, the Adam, like it says in Arizal, Adam Rishon Lifnei Hachet was the level of Moshiach and higher than Madregas Moshe. Adam Rishon before the Chet, because you have to understand, Yitzir Kapo Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wasn't born. Hashem made him and blew on it. There was nobody else involved. You know, the Gemara says 3 partners, Father, Mother, God, in the birth of a baby. This is pure, unadulterated God himself created Adam Rishon. So Adam Rishon before the Chet was on the level of the level of Mashiach, which is even higher than Moshe Rabbeinu. The level of Mashiach, there's no more Avedis HaBirurim. When Mashiach comes, the whole world is refined. Evil doesn't exist anymore. Right? There is no evil anymore. The only thing that exists is Kedusha. The level, so therefore, in that level, there's no avoid of separating good from bad. There is no bad. Adam Rishon before the Chet was in a level like Moshiach's era of Tchias HaMeis, that there is no evil. There was Tevera, but not in the world of the person.
There was evil, but evil was totally separated.
Correct. It's totally separated. And therefore, in the world of Kedusha, it didn't exist. When Adam Rishon sinned, and he mixed good with bad, bad with good, homogenized everything, in a mishmash, so then there's no good without bad, and no bad without good without bad, and there's no bad without good.
So you were saying that because Moshe Rabbeinu broke the lochos, now we have.
Torah Sheba'al Peh.
So it was a good thing that it happened.
Everything God does is good.
Otherwise, we didn't know how to put the film.
Well, maybe we wouldn't have needed it, but whatever. Yeah. Boys wouldn't have to spend that much time in yeshiva.
Moshiach, good to better though, right?
Oh, just.
Yeah, but you can still go from good to better.